In Ma, Octavia Spencer plays Sue-Ann, a veterinarian's assistant or vet assistant who, befriends a bunch of teenagers and starts throwing parties in her basement after she buys them some liquor at first, and she becomes their buddy. But, this is all the start. She has a more sinister, dark, ulterior motive that involves, vengeance and, other things. And if I say anything more, I'll give it away because if I talk too much more about Ma, it'll be like a huge spoiler. But I found the movie to be pretty entertaining. It definitely has. I liked it, but there were some things about it that there were imperfections. A lot of things, nothing is perfect, and there are things that you like that are good, but there are imperfections in them. And I thought Ma had some good things in it, mostly good things in it, but it did have some imperfect. It had some faults, which I'll get to. What I thought was great, Octavia Spencer's performance as Sue-Ann, the damaged protagonist slash villain of the movie. Very good. I mean, a very good performance. She really went all in on this character. You could see her struggle. She wanted to awkwardly relate to these teenagers. There's a reason why she does this, and you can see it. They talk about what happened to her in her past. Why she's so bent on befriending teenagers and not necessarily other people her own age. And the reasons why she's partly damaged. There's things that happened to her in her past that have informed her present. The same way they do with all of us. Although Ma's past, unlike most of the rest of us, Ma's homicidally crazy. Some of us, a lot of us are crazy, but then there's some of us who are, deranged as she is. Now, I will say that there's two things that I felt, there were two things that I felt was off about Ma, the movie. One was, there were moments, I guess in a lot of, thrillers or horror movies, the only way they can keep going is if characters start, leaving their common sense behind. And there were points in this movie where, there were people, you can kind of see that maybe something's off with this lady. Maybe you should stop hanging out with her so much. But they keep let's just keep on going. There's one part really early in the movie when they first go over to her house where she does something, or maybe it's the second time because they go over to her house a lot. Where it's maybe you shouldn't be coming over here anymore because, her behavior in this one scene was really extreme. But, they keep doing it because, it's a movie. And maybe in real life, people, you see things in the news or hear all the time. And maybe yourself, about people doing dumb things. So maybe it is believable that they would still be hanging out with her after this. But even though, since that's common in horror movies and thrillers, I'm not going to ding Ma on that while I give all these others a free pass. Another thing I thought was weird is there were points, especially later in the movie, where her craziness went really over the top. In the climax of the movie. It worked, I guess, for her character, but I was thinking, if this lady has always been this crazy, she would have had altercations with the cops and stuff, years before, but only now, when she's, in her 40s, at this moment in time, for this movie, is she doing, this really way over-the-top stuff. If she had been, it's no, I don't think anybody all of a sudden goes this over-the-top crazy. They've had to have been that way for a while. And, if she was doing the things in this movie now, she had to have been doing it early in her life. And if she had been doing it earlier, realistically, the cops would have already been all over this lady. But, it's a movie, right? I do feel that part of what makes Ma, all the performances are good, especially, part of what makes Ma works, well, what does make it work, all the performances are good, especially Octavia Spencer. It's well directed. And also, I think the movie really gives time for us to get to know the character of Ma, but also the other people in the movie she befriends or menaces. The victims being menaced or terrorized by her. A lot of horror movies, I don't even know if you'd call this a horror movie. Maybe it's a psychological thriller. The characters will get picked off one by one, but they don't really seem, you don't spend as much time with them to really care about whether they get killed off, or you don't really see them as people. With Ma, you actually do spend a lot of time with the teenagers and, the other adults in the movie, before things really start to go down. And I thought that was a very wise storytelling choice to make us see all of these people as people and not just movie characters we're just staring at, without really caring about. I thought that was a good decision. So, that all in all, I thought Ma was an enjoyable like thriller. I don't know. I mean, you could say it's a horror movie, but again, it's not really so much scary. It's like, maybe scary in the way like Fatal Attraction is, or Silence of the Lambs. Although Silence of the Lambs was kind of scary, but I don't think the movie's trying to scare you, but it's a thriller, there's suspenseful stuff happening. So I'd put it in that category. It's an enjoyable movie in that vein. Certainly not perfect. I mean, Octavia Spencer's performance is great. All the performances are great. And if you could kind of set aside a lot of the over-the-top stuff that happens, especially at the end of the movie, that's kind of like, man, she went really crazy, then, you'll be able, your suspension of disbelief, turn that on, and you'll be able to enjoy this movie for the psychological thriller it is. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.